Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 304. We have a wonderful guest for you today. So make sure to click to subscribe right now and ensure you never miss a journey. I post 1 to 2 episodes each week and each guest has a fascinating story to tell. Today we have Aidan Sowa, the founder and the CEO of Sowa Marketing Agency, an agency that specializes in helping entrepreneurs get featured in the media guaranteed. Hello, Aidan.
Yes. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. My audience are excited to hear your story, but start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
Yeah, so I would say like one of the biggest things when looking to succeed in a company is focusing on building a brand. And the way you can do that is by consistently posting on like social media and really just controlling how your brand is seen. So that way when customers are searching you up online, you have a really good reputation.
I can't wait to hear about that. But let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own business?
Yeah, so essentially before I started my business, I worked with the MIT Enterprise Forum Cambridge. I learned a lot about marketing there, email marketing, more like lead generation type of business. I don't know if your audience is familiar with like direct response messaging, but that's essentially like what I learned about, like more typical types of advertising. And really like after leaving, I kind of learned about the other side, which is branding.
But why do you do what you do?
Yeah, so essentially I realized that there's a lot of different like lead generation type of companies out there, and that's all really great, but they're missing the entirely like the other side of marketing, which is branding yourself as an authority. So it's great to get in front of a bunch of different people, but if they don't trust you, then that will cause them to, like at least a good percentage of them, to not convert into real clients. And that's what we really help our clients do. So that way when people get bombarded with all of these Facebook ads and stuff like that, that they actually trust and they want to do business with them rather than being super skeptical.
Everywhere I see the agency marketing, isn't the marketing crowded, one would say?
Yeah, and I would say that's definitely not the case because reality is every business needs new customers, right? And there's new businesses being created every single day. So by no means is it crowded. I think we're a long way away from that. And I don't even think that's ever really possible because there's always more and more businesses getting started every single day and they have needs for more customers. So being able to build up their brand is very important.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
I mean, I think it really depends on like how you define successful. I mean, I consider myself semi-successful. I mean, it really depending on like where you want to reach your goals as a business. Some businesses, they want to reach like 6 figures. I mean, right now I do, I think it's around several 6 figures, like around, but like it's really just depending on like where your goals are.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
Yeah, so I would say like one of the days like where things started to really take it to like that next level is when we went all out on like one particular concept. So we used to do like a bunch of different things, but once we finally focused on messaging on like branding, being able to specifically specialize within a certain niche, then things really started to really focus down. So getting down on messaging was really key. And also just realizing that the key way to generate customers is just generate new conversations. It's just that. You don't have to think of it as something salesy. All you have to do is just start a new conversation and provide a service which solves someone's problem. That's all that business is.
What is the secret to creating a profitable marketing agency?
Yeah, I would say like one of the key things is being able to specialize and like specifically like within a niche is one of the key things. And also like really providing a good quality service. Like a majority of marketing agencies out there, unfortunately do not provide a good quality service. So even if you provide an okay level service, you're already ahead of the competition. So just by doing that alone is enough to create like a pretty profitable marketing agency.
Just call them the okay level. Wow. And as you mentioned, you've been in the business for a while now, but can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
Yeah, and I would say that not everyone's cut out to be like an entrepreneur because some people are very comfortable just getting that regular paycheck. And there are certain times as an entrepreneur, like one of the first things that happened when I went into like business is one of my clients started to do a chargeback. And at the time I was like, what is a chargeback? I had no idea. And these are the things which some people come into business and they have no idea. And there's a lot of different challenges which come and there's a lot of stress. There was some nights where I wasn't sure if I would go bankrupt because of some chargeback. Things like that do happen in business. And I don't believe that everyone is able to mentally just handle that type of stress, and they shouldn't have to handle that. So some people are better set for jobs, but for other people who are willing to take that risk and are able to handle those types of challenges, not just for like a week, but for essentially forever, because that's how a business is. You're constantly trying to fight and constantly trying to grow the business. Otherwise, you just die out. So someone who can handle that type of pressure is best to be an entrepreneur.
You mentioned about chargeback. I've never heard of it. What do you mean?
Yeah, so essentially, like what would happen is if you didn't get a formal agreement with a client, what happens is they can actually just call up their bank and say the transaction was fraudulent. And that's a lie, really, because, we both know that they did buy the service, but they're going to call their bank and say, like, oh, I never bought this service. The bank will take back their money. I'll lose all the money out of their account. The client will get back their money. And it's just a really awful experience, which some businesses unfortunately have to face. And chargeback is meant to protect the consumer against scams, but a lot of customers abuse it and they take advantage of like some businesses as a result.
Wow. Thank you for putting us in the light. What have you learned from business as a whole?
Yeah, I would say like learning as like from like a business, I would say one of the key things is just being able to deal with like difficult situations and just staying calm under it all. Just understanding that this can all just end. There's usually a solution out there. You have to be really innovative. So I would say that just being able to stay calm under pressure has been probably the most valuable thing I've learned.
What are you still doing in the way you work that you just know you have to stop doing?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely tasks like that. I've been trying to outsource a few like different tasks, such as like responding to certain emails and stuff of that nature. I have like a list of things on, there's this great tool called Trello. So I have like every single task which I do, which I could potentially, give to like an assistant. So right now I still send out like some Pinterest messages. I do some like regular email marketing myself. And those are all tasks which could be taught. So anything which you can explain to someone within like 15, 20 minutes and someone can just take over, those are the types of tasks which I replace.
If you could rerun the first year of your business, what would you definitely know to do?
What I would definitely not do is I would not buy a course or something from something which is, I don't know, out of 2015, 2016, because that's exactly what I did. I just studied people who learn outdated tactics and essentially doomed myself from the start unknowingly, because you have to really keep up to date with marketing. It's very, very important to understand the current atmosphere and adopt the current tactics, because the old tactics which used to work 6, 7 years ago do not work today. And that's one of the key things which I would have done.
What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
Yeah, I would say the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have is that they're essentially just going to become rich overnight. Because that's what a lot of people come into the space, just thinking that they're going to like just get super rich and stuff. It's what really like an online entrepreneur is, you should be trying to focus on helping. You should be thinking like in the eyes of the consumer rather than you yourself profiting. Like that type of thing can happen, but really focusing eyes like on the consumer focus. I think it was Amazon which mentioned that they're really consumer focused. They're completely focused on like the consumer's results, and that's really what I feel like a successful online entrepreneur should be doing.
Isn't it the idea of making money?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I definitely hear that. Like when you're first starting out a business, you always want to get like a first few clients. You can't come into business without like, wanting to make money. Over time, that has to shift to be like, okay, so I really want to focus on the needs of my customers. How do they think? What do they really need? And sometimes creating like a customized solution is really the key to doing that. And the only way you can do that is by thoroughly researching what their needs are and just talking to them.
You mentioned that you started in 2016 and you ended up going on courses designed for 2016 and 15. What advice would you give someone who coming in right now, and what courses do you advise them to study?
Yeah, I
What
would
is
say
it?
like there's a lot of good courses out there, like 2020 plus, but also there's a ton of great information, which I didn't really realize is already available on YouTube for free. So just being able to constantly like just that's the type of information which is good.
How do you make yourself get back on track when something goes wrong?
I would say just kind of remembering why you're in it to begin with. One of the things which I do is I have like a Polaris style, essentially figuring out why I even started this business to begin with. For me, it was just like frustration with what I was doing, like to begin with. I was working a minimum wage job, making around like $10 an hour, working at like this convenience store essentially. And for me, I really hated what I was doing. I wanted to be able to do so much more, be able to help businesses. So just remembering just how much better like my life is now versus before. And then I was like, okay, this little frustration is nothing compared to like what I could have been doing if I hadn't gone down this route. So kind of remembering that. And if that's not a strong enough reason for you, then maybe you should go back to the job.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
I would say probably advice. That's probably the most valuable thing, which I've been able to help some different clients literally quit their jobs. So I would say that's probably one of the most valuable things that I've done. Just to be able to give that. And I pretty much just did that just by providing them free advice, and they were able to quit their jobs and be able to really grow their businesses, to the point that they don't have to do that job. So that's really, that's probably the most valuable thing.
How long did it take you to pay yourself a salary out of your business?
I would say it's probably was, I mean, great thing about service-based businesses is that there's profit immediately. So it's not like one of those, types of businesses was like, you get like 20% profit margins or like 5%. The profit margins on service-based businesses is actually quite high. So pretty much like a couple months, I was able to like sort of take money out because I just have to be able to pay my minimum bills, and then the rest is just profit.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
I would say mindset has been key. Being able to really focus in on my mindset, being able to figure out, okay, these are my 10-year goals, my 1-year goals, my weekly goals, my daily goals, and being able to kind of break it down. Like, okay, in 10 years, I'm going to cut that down into 1 year. How much am I going to have to do in 1 week to be able to continuously hit those goals? So eventually I'm going to reach those 10 years goals. So that way, I would say chunking is probably one of the key things which I've done to really break down my goals. And I think every entrepreneur should be doing that, knowing exactly where they're going. Because if you don't know where you're going, someone else is just going to take you down some other route. And then you're going to wake up one day and be like, how come I haven't reached any of my goals?
Who planned 2020 to 2021, now we are still in lockdown. How do you really achieve your goal?
Yeah, and I mean, I actually think that right now is like one of like the key times when starting an online business anyway. Everyone is online, so it's like the best opportunity to do this. Everyone is online already, so you can reach a ton of people. You don't have to. That's another, I think, common mistake which people make is they think that they need to meet everyone in person to be able to do business. But that's not even true. Like right now, there's like so much trust around Zoom and Skype. Majority of our clients have signed large contracts without ever meeting with us in person.
What grounds you?
I would say what really grounds me is the fact, I mean, I see people all around me just like, struggling and stuff like that. And I realize that like I could have been there. So really just understanding people's situations is what really grounds me.
What is the most important question to ask someone who has bought from you?
I would say that just setting expectations. So as soon as someone buys from us, what we always ask them, like what almost the expectations are in forms of like communication, what they expect from the service. That's one of the most important things, because if you don't have the expectation, you deliver a service, even if it's a great service, if it doesn't meet their expectations, it doesn't really matter, right? So what I always try to do is I ask my customers, okay, it's great. Now that you've bought, like, I just want to understand, like, what's your communications, expectations, like what type of service are you expecting? Really just understanding that is key in order to be able to keep that customer and be able to get like long-term referrals.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
Let me see. That one's a difficult question. I would probably say a lot of people don't know about Probably the type of work which goes into running a business. So essentially, like the amount of work which I put into running a business, people just look at me and they're like, "Okay, so you're like 21 years old, you haven't really done that much," and they expect I'm inexperienced. But the reality is, I've been in this game for a while now, and I know I've had to go through quite a bit, probably more than like most of these people just starting out a business. So I would say that's a key thing which a lot of people don't know about me.
So you mean that people undermine you because of your age?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes people just look at me and they assume, oh, you must be like 16 years old or something. And that's just not true. I mean, I've been through a lot. Like most people my age have not had to know about chargebacks, all these legal formalities, things of that nature.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it and how we can join it.
Yeah, so I would just like say that for anyone who is interested in kind of reaching out, they would check out our website, sowagency.co. It's a really great way to check us out.
Who's your perfect clientele?
I would say like a perfect clientele is, well, first you need to have like a budget for any type of marketing. If someone has at least like $1,000, if you have less than $1,000 for marketing, I would definitely not recommend working with us because I mean, we're sort of like a,
Can you be online? Come on.
yeah, and I hear that for sure. But I mean, there's like a lot of stuff you could get for like very, very cheap. Be able to create a website for like $15 and stuff. And that is a service. We just don't offer that type of thing just because, we typically work with like more like higher end type of client, someone who's looking for like long-term results. If you don't have $1,000, not much you can really do in marketing.
If I give you my 1K, what should I expect from you?
Yeah, so I would probably say again, like we want to focus on like the exact industry. Like we don't take on like all clients, but let's just say if we were to like take out 1K, I would probably say that you'd be able to get like a tangible result. Let's just say getting established online. We get a lot of our clients into like Yahoo Finance and stuff like that. So being able to improve your brand, you would definitely notice a difference there. The thing is about marketing is that's a long-term effort. Some people come in thinking they could just spend, I don't know, a couple thousand and suddenly be known as like an industry leader. And that's just simply not the way marketing is. You have to continuously put in money. Yeah.
Tell us a few brands you work with.
Some of the clients we've worked with, one client which you're going to be working with is what is like it's like a company which basically is going to be working with like Ronaldo. He's like that football player. So it's like one of those brands. And we also work with a bunch of different companies within like the financial advisor space as well.
And how can we connect with you?
Yeah, just check out our website, sowagency.co. Or you could just like call our number like 401-219-4207.
I guess you cover the whole world.
Yeah, essentially we cover like most of the world. I mean, I guess like if we didn't speak their language, then yeah, we wouldn't be able to help them. But any like English speaking country, yeah.
Thank you. There will be more from Aidan in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you are encouraged by Aidan's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has tons of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneurs, guests' journey, all there to help you find the path for your own online success journey. The site offers exclusive members-only content and you can join absolutely free and be part of this amazing online success community today. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Aidan, I would love for you to share more with my audience if you are up for it.
Sure.
Thank you. Do you like to watch movies or read books?
I like to read a lot of books. I feel like that's a common thing of how like people think of entrepreneurs. They always think of people like reading books and stuff like that, and they wonder if it's like actually like a real thing. But I love to read books. Yeah, it definitely does work. And I think the thing is some people think they could just consume information. Let's just say read about Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, famous types of like successful entrepreneurs and suddenly be successful. But the difference is what I think what really makes people successful is not just consuming that information, but taking action on it. So it's one thing to go to a seminar and consume all this information, but to actually take action on it is like another thing. So that's the reason why I always like write down exact things which I learned and how I'm going to implement it into my business. That's how I really utilize books.
Tell us what is your favorite book that has some relevance to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would probably say Pretty much like any book, like in regards to like Warren Buffett, are like my favorite books. I love his work ethic. He works incredibly hard. I mean, he's like 90 years old and he still runs like the business to a certain extent. And he's created like a super successful business. And I really look up to people like him. So any types of books, but about Warren Buffett, his like type of work ethic, I would say are really great for any entrepreneur to read.
I hope you don't follow his diet.
Yeah, yeah. I was speaking of like his diet actually. I mean, one of the things which he mentioned, I mean, it's kind of ironic a bit, but he talks about how like, like a lot of people, if they were given like one car or something their entire life, they would take really great care of it. And you should treat your body the same way. It's a little bit ironic because he always eats McDonald's every single day, but that just means that he's fallible.
If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
Yeah, I really like that question. Essentially, I would put it back into my brand. I mean, that might seem a little bit crazy just to put like straight into a brand rather than marketing, but there's actually a famous saying, I think it was like by Bill Gates, that if he was down to his like last dollar, he would put it back into like PR, which is like public relations. So essentially, just being able to build up your brand is the most important thing you could do with your money.
What is the best business book you have ever read?
Best business book, I probably would say, I mean, I don't have like a particular book which comes to mind. I just love reading any books about like Warren Buffett, about his like investing strategies, things of that nature are probably like the best business books.
What encouragement have you got for my audience who are not quite there yet?
I would probably say that like it's that anyone can really succeed if they work long enough at it. So what I mean by that, if you go into like an industry where there's already success, meaning you don't try a completely new industry because that's really, really difficult. But if you go into an industry, let's just say like a marketing agency or an industry where there's already people who are successful and you just adopt that model, there's this great book. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim. And essentially what they go over in that book is going from zero to $100 million. And in that book, basically all they say is like to get to 10, even like $100 million, all you have to do is just copy a successful business model and only modify it slightly and just really understand exactly what they did to go from that level. Even study their websites, their social media, how it's changed over time. And if you just adopt that type of model, you could become a really successful business. I mean, successful meaning like, 10 million, 100 million a year. And then to be able to get to like that next level, you can really just, you have to be able to innovate a bit more. So I would probably say that's like the biggest thing in terms of like encouragement, that it really is possible. There's people already out there who are succeeding.
If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your pocket every day, what would be written on it?
I would probably say like my Polaris star, essentially. Remembering why I even started a business to begin with, would probably be that note.
What is your next chapter?
I'm just hoping like my next chapter, my goal is to really be able to take my business to like 7 figures. I'm hoping to just like get to that level like this year, really. So that's my next chapter.
Do you feel like you succeeded or like you are only on the way?
Yeah, I feel like I'm only on the way. Even like when I reach like 7 figures, I really don't feel like that's like the end goal. My goal is I want to be able to help like a lot of different businesses. And in order to be able to do that, I have to have more staff, be able to hire more people, things of that nature, and be able to create more customized solutions. And the only way you can do that is by continuing to grow as like a company. And I have so many things I want to be able to do with my business, which I just don't have like the capital yet to do. So by no means have I made it at all.
You have. You are 21. You are on a 6-figure. You left a hustle job working up at 5 for a minimum wage. To me, I think we should celebrate mini milestones.
I mean, I definitely celebrate them to an extent. I definitely do celebrate them. I just feel like once you reach a certain point, like, let's just say 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, you kind of reach a point where it's not like necessarily money. It's being able to really just help people, and how do you help as many people as possible? And for me, being able to have more money, being able to invest back into my company and get more clients to help to thus trust me, and I can help more people.
Would you ever stop?
I don't reason why I would ever stop. Only reason why that would ever happen is if I got injured, unable, like completely incapacitated. Because the great thing is about an online business is that you don't have to, you can do it from anywhere. So that's really a great thing. So unless I was unable to, I don't see any reason why I would ever stop.
Remind us how we can connect with you.
Yeah, just check out our website, www.sowaagency.co.
Aidan, it's been great to have you here to share your online success journey with us.
Yeah, it's been great to be on.
Thank you. That's a wrap. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Aidan.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest and want you to know there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on her website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast, and they're only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite platform to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at iTunes and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share your journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out her course on clarity while you're at the website. Finding clarity is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.